Although I have been teaching for 6 years, each year I feel like a first year teacher because I learn so much each day. I learn from my students, I learn from my peers, and through a lot of reflection, I learn from myself. It seems that I'm in a constant state of revision. When I first started teaching, I thought that I would keep a binder of everything that worked that year. And I reasoned that after a year or two, I used that binder to teach all of my classes. I reckon that once I had a working curriculum, it would be smooth sailing. It was just the opposite. There's a lot to juggle. The people, the students, the staff. You're always changing location, and sometimes even positions. It's always new material, new strategies. Sometimes I acquire so much information and I get overwhelmed with it all. It's just so many ideas. They all seem to be helpful in my practice, but choosing which ones to implement in daily routines or to set as classroom expectations does at times present a challenge. It's always a new book, always a new strategy, always a newly discovered philosophy to incorporate. It's why a lot of teachers actually hoard. I found that I hoard lots of information, lots of papers in my home, in my classroom, and even in my basement. I believe that eventually I will have the time or that I will have that student to use it all. My time as a teacher has been, for the most part, a positive one. I started out as a long-term substitute and quickly discovered my teacher voice and my teacher flair. After 1 year of being a permanent substitute, I moved to Boston and began working at the Lilla G. Frederick Pilot Middle School. The hours were long, the work was hard, but regardless of what was happening, I always put my students first, and this kept me coming back each day. You really do have to love the kids and respect them and where they come from in order to do this work. The work will always be the work no matter where you teach, so the most important thing for me is to develop relationships with students and their families. It's been my experience that students achieve higher academic success when they're able to cultivate positive relationships with school staff in an environment that insists on high academic standards. Because confidence is a key ingredient in determining academic success, the one-on-one relationships that students develop during in-school time become a continuum of parental structures and serve to elevate self. Because confidence is a key ingredient in determining academic success, the one-on-one relationships that students develop during in-school time are very important. When students feel confident and able to trust themselves and the adults involved in their lives, they are able to take more risks. As a student trusts himself to take risks, exploration of academia and creativity are fostered. That's why after-school programs is something that I've always involved myself in. In the past, I have initiated parent outreach meetings, led an after-school drama club, and tutored classes on Saturdays. I saw these as opportunities to develop relationships with students that could positively affect their academic life. In my professional career, I have observed that when a student is having a difficult time bonding with a teacher, he's less likely to work harder to achieve academic success within that specific teacher's learning environment. On the other hand, I have also noted that it appears that when students have developed relationships with teachers and other staff members, they feel that their success matters not only to the members of their immediate family, but also to members in the community. I strive to develop my relationships with students so that they feel comfortable taking academic risks. In fact, I see myself as a link between home and school that is here to serve and enhance the student's sense of community and allow him to buy into the academic expectations of our school culture. When students believe and support the collective expectation of intellectual, although many components enhance a student's ability to learn, the factors that I have observed are concerned with the development of relationships. These relationships seem to provide a foundation in which the student is ultimately able to realize his potential. This, in fact, is my goal. I want students to be able to reach their full potential, regardless of what that is. When I gaze into my crystal ball and look into my future, I see myself teaching still. I am being visited by my old students, now all grown up, and loved by my new students. I am a valued member of my teaching community, known for keeping up with technology and incorporating new ways to help students succeed.